All right, welcome to a little Loki breakdown. We're going to go over the last episode, Loki Season 2, Episode 2. No Jeff as he is en route back to LA, I guess? Maybe Chicago? I don't fucking know where he goes anymore. I think he's on his way.
I think he's going to LA.
He's on his way to Jakarta, as we speak, Indonesia.
California.
Yeah, or Cali boy.
He's actually going to the Middle East.
Yeah, he's heading there right now. What side is he on? We're going to let you find out on your own. That's the big surprise, like a YouTube thumbnail.
Yeah. People know it.
Jeff goes to Middle East?
The D stands for David.
Yeah. Okay, so Loki picks up where he kind of left off last. Loki and Mobius are chasing after X5, who was hiding on the sacred timeline in the 60s as an actor named Brad Wolf. Great name.
Yeah.
Really like that name. And he has this modified pad that he says stops trackers. It doesn't, which they find out pretty quickly after they capture him. They interrogate him, and X5 provokes both of them, which I think this scene is really cool because it's really good dueling acting between Rafael Casal, who we've interviewed before. You'll find his interview on our channel somewhere, and Tom Hiddleston, and honestly, also Owen Wilson. I think all three of them in that scene.
This is as good as Owen Wilson's been in forever.
In a long time. Loki puts X5 in this shrinking box machine to get the information on him because he wants to know where Sylvie is. And as we know, Sylvie was in Oklahoma in the 80s on a branch timeline. So X5 brings them to the McDonald's. One thing that bothered me during the scene, just to bring out, I really hate it when actors have empty cups. And it's so clearly an empty cup. Oh, yeah. I hate it more than anything.
I didn't notice it, but they definitely were empty.
Or just cut, dub over the sound. Because they always do that. They'll pick it up. It's obviously empty because it's so easy for them to pick up.
You don't hear
then you hear the sound of a clearly empty cup when they put it down. And it's just a movie thing that always bothers the fuck out of me. I should tweet that to Richard Roperk and be like, because he always does the movie law things. Like, every movie needs that to happen at least once. But they find out that General Dox is pruning all the timelines. She's setting off bombs, blowing all of them up, killing trillions of people. So they stop them, but trillions are already dead. And Sylvie's just kind of like, fuck you want me to do? I'm going back home. So
what?
She just bounces, goes back to Oklahoma, and the last thing we see of her, she's hanging out on the truck with the time pad that belonged to He Who Remains, Kang, the one that he used to it's like apparently it's like the mega version of the time pad because it can go all over the place to different places that you couldn't go with a normal time pad.
It's a time pad max.
Yeah, it's the mega time pad, the platinum version, I guess.
Yeah, the XR, whatever the new iPhones are called now.
Yeah, I think this episode is cool because it shows them sort of moving away from what the first season was in certain aspects into what is basically now just like a buddy cop story.
Yeah.
Like before it was pretty much Mobius explaining things to Loki and Loki doing his own thing, but now they're buddy cops.
Yeah, I mean their chemistry is it's off the charts. It is like to the point where I cannot deal with if they kill off Mobius, I will be very upset because any future thing involving Loki, I'm gonna need Mobius there with him. Like it's just he is the happy to the Iron Man, if you will. Like, yeah, they work shockingly well together. Right. And it just gets better and better as it goes.
If you told us, I would say 4 years ago, we're gonna do Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson in a movie together as Loki and
I can remember when it was announced and being I don't think that's going to work.
Fuck, dude. How does that possibly work? And it's been amazing. Like you said, their chemistry is just unmatched. And they really got the good routine going of good cop, bad cop, whatever you want to call it, detective duo, even down to the outfits to come on, cool off. Let my partner cool off. And then they go and eat key lime pie together in the pie room. It works really well. The only complaint I think I have about this is I don't think there was a great transition from last episode to this episode.
No, there was a few things that were I think the structure of it and the pacing of it was a little off this episode.
Yeah.
That's really my only big complaint is the pacing and the structure was just a little weird. I was did I miss something in the intro?
Exactly. Yeah.
I love the opening though. I did love that opening scene. That. Did you think that was a Bond audition tape for him?
Yeah.
Because they almost set that up. They're let's make him look like a super spy sleuth and
he looked great.
Have him running in this tuxedo, chasing someone down. It looked like parts of Mission Impossible. The new one, when he's running through those streets, I was like, fuck. I haven't always been the biggest Hiddleston should be the next Bond guy. In fact, I've had him very down on my list. But that opening sequence, I was like, you know what?
He looked so damn handsome. If he had just a shorter haircut.
Yeah.
That's Bond.
I mean, yeah. Great running form, by the way.
Yeah.
Great running form.
And I think that the highlight of this episode for me was the whole interrogation sequence was very cool. A lot of really good like needling dialogue between X5 and Loki, like them going back and forth, thought was really cool. And then like him not breaking was surprising. You know what I mean? Like not breaking down, trying to beat the shit out of this guy. But then also I think Mobius, him actually kind of breaking and showing like giving us a sight of his kind of internal struggle a little bit.
Yeah, like he's not all like cheers.
Yeah, which is something too, like I think so far Loki hasn't addressed a ton of, which is a very interesting part of it, which is just like them all kind of understanding now that they're variants and that there is a different version of themselves that was able to live a life and not just kind of be like a slave to this TVA system. So that part I think is really cool and interesting and stuff they can dive into more. And I think that Loki's they've done a really good job, not only with the script, the plot so far and everything like that, but also I think the effects look so good in this. It's fucking crazy.
It makes no sense. It makes zero sense why this looks so much better than everything else they've put out recently. Like, I guess they are using it somewhat like you'd think no, but I do think they're using it pretty sparingly.
Yes.
Like the sets are definitely
a lot of
CGI. There's some CGI there. But it's a lot of it's a lot of practical sets.
Like those big ceiling like submarine doors.
You know, I think one thing people pointed out with Ahsoka was those big green screen sets, and like the easiest way to tell was like they would just go over and touch like one thing, and that's like, oh, this is like establishing like they're in like a real place, but it's like they're only fooling with like one thing on the set. Like everything in Loki, it feels like they're touching, they're interacting with it. You can feel like inside that world, inside the TVA.
Even like the temporal loom, which is like this big, massive CGI mess sort of thing. It looks good. And I think the one part of CGI that stood out to me is like the whole box sequence. Like that just looked like it was really happening.
I also thought he was going to crush him.
Yeah, me too.
I was like, holy fuck, are they about to start snapping this guy, like crushing him? So kudos to them, because I've kind of given up hope on Marvel doing anything like that. But for a second there, I was like, holy fuck, he's going to crush him.
And that was a scene that I think we kind of all watching it are like, we know where this goes is Marvel. Like we know like, oh, he's going to break under the pressure. Like they kind of navigated that well to make it more surprising.
Yeah.
I also think like their whole action sequences, like the chase down was really cool. And like the magic that he uses to fool X5 into getting caught and then uses it to physically catch him, I thought was sick.
Dude, those shadows. Yeah, those shadows were awesome. That was some Sam Raimi shit. That was sick. And he said it was funny. He was like, "The shadows are a little dramatic, huh?" And he's like he's like, "I don't think so." Yeah. He's like, "I thought it was a nice touch." And then he like eliminates his other clones.
And then the other guys all when he comes out and thinks those guys are trying to kill him, and it's just like his shadow effects, or not shadows, but like created magical effects. Look great. The fight sequences, even with the rogue TVA guys, I thought looked cool. I thought that, or what do you call it? She had escaped General Dox, but they had her at the end of that. So yeah.
That actress plays like annoying old lady very very well. Yeah, Lisa Aaron.
Yeah. Suckling.
Oh, she was she might be the worst Game of Thrones character of all.
She's maybe the most annoying in a good way. Again, that's the point of the character.
Yes.
Like so fucking annoying. Like Janice Soprano kind of deal, except crazier.
I cheered when she got thrown out of the moonroof.
Yeah.
Make her fly.
Yeah. Those are good times. But yeah, so I think it was a really solid episode, and again, a good establishment of what Loki is now versus what Loki was last season. Which is like, I feel like they're moving into more of this, like, yeah, they were searching for shit. It was like in a way detective story, but more of like a detective thing. Again, a buddy cop detective story is what it feels like more now versus what they were kind of like transitioning with in the first season, which is cool.
Really cool. Yeah, no, it's great, and they've added in like. Obviously, they could have very easily, after the reception to the Casey character last year, people loving him, they could have overdone it this year, and they have expanded his role, but only slightly. Yes. And then the restraint there, I respect the hell out of, because we've seen another show where a bit character comes in, they gave it a whole fucking series.
Yeah. With like 10-year
Stream Agatha Coven of Chaos or whatever it's called next year on Disney Plus. But yeah, no, they just like they're like, okay, people like this big character. We're going to bring him back. We're going to add a little bit more, but we're not going to overdo it. And then we're going to bring in Kiwi Kwan and add him in as like the, random coworker that you run down and you see when you need something. And he's going to be charming as hell and fit right in with the other two. Yeah, no, it's great. And we brought it up last episode. I love that they're keeping Kang in the shadows right now.
Yes, exactly. And I don't know if that was by design because of
I don't know
they re-edited it or what, but like I do like regardless, even if that wasn't the case, I still do like the way that they've done that so far.
Yeah, no, because it's like you kind of you fear something you don't know way more than when you see it. You can kind of get over it quickly.
Yeah. And I also, just to talk about restraint, I'm surprised they haven't tried to add in any other Marvel characters too. Thank God.
Yeah, this would have been the episode to do it too. I think there would have right. I guess. I don't know. They can do it.
They're going through other timelines, but like I do like that they're letting it be its own thing. And it feels like after how successful the first season was, that they'd be like, oh, fuck it, let's throw Thor in here. Oh, fuck it, let's throw this guy in here.
Well, when they first showed up into that timeline in London, and you get the shot of the guy getting out of the limo. Yeah. Wolf getting out of the limo and getting onto the red carpet. At first, I was like, oh, fuck, they're going to do Howard Stark. I was like, they're doing Howard Stark, aren't they? And nope, it's just
X5.
X5.
Different timeline. And what did he in Brad Wolf?
Yeah,
fucking killer name. Wolf. And I liked it when they had the discussion with Mobius, and they were just like having a movie discussion.
Oh yeah,
very funny. He's like, it's cinema, it's elevated thriller.
Do you think that was a Scorsese nod, or like because his whole thing was the quote that blew it up? His whole Scorsese MCU thing was him saying it's not cinema, it's more of a roller coaster.
Maybe, yeah.
And they're saying elevated thriller, which is like kind of every elevated thriller is like applies to almost every Scorsese movie. Yeah. So I kind of wonder if that was like a nod towards that.
It'd be kind of funny if it was. I feel like it probably isn't, but like it'd be really
funny. To be clear, I don't think any of the Marvel writers or directors take offense to Martin Scorsese. No. I'm sure they all look up to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, when they said that, when he's like, it's cinema, I was like,
I didn't think about that. You should clip that and post that, because then people will go wild with that theory.
Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah, I think we all liked Loki. We're excited for the next episode. And just, I wish we had more Ahsoka to look forward to.
Yeah.
I wish we had more stuff.
Well, I got the Gen V.
Gen V's doing really well.
Scratching the itch. Yeah. I'm going to watch the new episode today, which is nice. The weekly release, we just got to get back to it. It's nice to have things to like discuss, and not like when something drops all at once, you kind of feel an obligation to watch it all if you're going to discuss it. Yeah. Because then like if you get into a discussion, you got to be like, oh, well, I'm only up to episode 3. So don't tell me anything that happens after that. I like it when there's just a weekly drop and you watch 30 minutes to an hour and you just come in the office the next day and you go, hey, you watched it last night? It's nice. Also, how do you feel about Sylvie's new haircut?
Very 80s. It fits.
Big fan.
Yeah.
Girls and mullets. I'll tell you what.
It works with them. I don't know why. I think at this point, all I can do is skull it. I don't know how that would do. Yeah. That's my only recourse at this point. But yeah, I've been trying to scratch my itch with other shows. Vinland Saga, this new season, is it just them fucking farming for like 1,000 episodes straight?
Yeah, buddy.
I'm starting to get fucking sick of it, to be frank.
Dude, Farmland Saga is the best. It's the best part of the whole manga.
How much longer can it? It's so much farming. And it's like they're getting into the weeds and like the literal weeds, like the technicalities of everything.
It's not about taking life. It's about building life.
It's fucking, it's him and Eivor or whatever. They're just sitting there like talking for hours on end about farming. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what happened last year with all these guys fighting and going after each other and going on raids? I kind of want to go back to that. Does it go back to it at any point this season?
All right, if you don't want spoilers, do you want a spoiler?
I just want to know when I'm going to get back to the standard.
There's like one more fight. There's like one more fight. There's like one more.
The whole season?
Like the whole series. Like the whole thing.
God, dude.
Brother, he's a farmer now. He's a pacifist.
I know, but like even if it's just Thorvin doing his thing there, I want to see like what like Canute and stuff had the really cool scene with Mercia.
Canute does have more stuff.
Okay, and Thor,
but like Thor's like he's kind of out of the game.
But with Thorkel,
he's a killer. I mean, he's the biggest fighter in the world.
Yeah, he's got like a Goku haircut.
He's awesome.
I like Canute. Awesome. Canute's been a great character too. Okay, but then anyway, talking about Canute, that's Norse legend.
Do you have any predictions for the next episode before we just log off on this?
I have like none. It's very difficult show to predict at this point. You know what I mean?
Do you think Renslayer is with?
They teased her big time.
Kang, do you think she's actually just physically with him at this point?
That I don't. I feel like next episode they're going to show you Renslayer, because I feel like they've teased it enough at this point, but I don't know where she's going.
Yeah, I haven't dived into the theories at all, but I have seen like pictures of them in the comics. I guess they were hot and heavy. And like co-conspirators in this whole thing. Yeah. I don't know if they're gonna follow. Obviously, the MCU doesn't really follow the comics all that closely, but who knows?
Yeah, well, we're gonna find out next week. So we like Loki. We'll be back reviewing episode 3 with Jeff next week. We will see you then.